£4,000 is how much we could stand to lose. Is a customer avoiding payment despite their contract?
Hopefully I don't get carted.
Another broken down van, and this one is not simple. Then a performance plan breaks down. Today it's come to a head. It's never a dull moment at Vapor Clean, so keep watching to see a no holds barred look what it's really like to run a UK cleaning company. I'm Lee, this is Vapor Clean. Let's see behind the cleans. You literally could not make this up, to be quite honest. So I knew I was going to come back to something. There's always something. When you're a busy business, there's always something that happens, and it's the joys of being at the top because the responsibility stops with you, essentially. However, what I was hoping not to see was another broken down van. But check this video out.
Hopefully I don't get carted.
Poor Elliot has only been with us, well, less than a week actually. It's literally his first week driving the van back from a job, and lo and behold, breaks down. Had an absolute nightmare of it. Broke down at just gone 5 o'clock. Spoke to, I think Ashley brought it over to you in last week's episode as well. If you haven't watched that one, click the link above. But basically, rang Ashley at 7 o'clock, still hadn't managed to get home. Green flag strikes again. He basically waited for the repair guy to come out, plugs it in, says there was no issue with it, couldn't figure out what it was, so it's got to be recovered. He couldn't recover it, although if you look at the position, again, I'll show you that video again, look at the position, it's dangerous. And the services is only literally a short distance away, so couple of miles, so they've towed it on a rope down to, or on a bar down to the services, and then he stopped there and organised for recovery. However, the recovery truck didn't turn up until 3 o'clock in the morning, so he sat there from about 8 o'clock through to 3 o'clock in the morning. Absolute nightmare. I just wish I'd never bought these vans at all. So they're in the garage at the moment getting repaired, and yeah, we'll just see how that goes basically, but I'm not going to hold my breath for a positive outcome because I'd like to scrap the lot of them. Never buy a Peugeot.
So we're at White Row Farm in Fruit?
White Row Farm Shop?
Well, whatever, somewhere.
We're at a farm shop.
We're at a farm shop. So these are one of the systems. We've got 4 systems to do today. I've got one all the way over there. This one, as you can see, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Very bad. Then we've got air conditioner here, fish and chip shop fan one here, and then over here would be the prep one, which Jordan is about to take off in a second. And yeah, I don't know.
I think Jorge's got the wrong idea of being a cleaner.
Hey, these are your free mop club, innit?
What do you think?
So I've had a catch up now with the garage about the van, and that's causing a bit of a head scratcher for sure. So they weren't able to actually look at it last week. They've just were too flat out busy. They managed to plug it in this morning, have a proper look at it, and it's doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Basically, the fault finder machine wasn't communicating with it. It's now started to communicate with it, and they're getting faults, but all of the faults are very random and all over the shop. It's things like a cooling fan issue, a rear brake pad sensor, but only one apparently, and a couple of other random stupid things, none of which that should have caused it to go into limp mode. And it is in limp mode, but the engine management light isn't on, so you would expect for it to be in limp mode, the engine management light to be on, but it's not on. It's also saying it's got 150,000 miles on the clock. It hasn't got 150,000 miles on the clock, so either the van's been clocked or there is an issue with what it's communicating. Basically, they don't really know what's wrong with it. The guess, and it is a guesstimate at the moment, is that it's an ECU problem, which is basically the brain within the vehicle that tells it what to do and what the issues are. They're thinking that because obviously the fault finder can communicate with it. So it's off the road. They're going to send it over to a specialist to see if it is the ECU, but we've just got to wait and see. That is literally waiting and seeing. It's a waiting game. Yeah, nightmare. We also, last week, had a report from Steve that his van was popping out of gear. Now, this is the piece of crap that had the cam belt issue and also had that repair, but now apparently it's popping out of 5th gear, so you have to just hold a little bit of pressure on it to hold it in 5th gear. So they went over and had a look at that. They've done a very quick sort of investigation as to what the issue is, and it looks as though it needs a new gearbox. So, yeah, scrap metal, I think. That's another one that we've got to think about. But, you know, we can't just keep throwing money at vans. I can't just keep repairing and repairing and repairing. So what do? I don't know whether or not I try and fight a legal battle to go back to the company that we bought them off of, because they're clearly piles of rubbish. Do we replace the gearbox? Do we have to suffer it the way it is for a while? Do we try and do a middle ground fix? I don't know. What do you reckon? Any mechanics out there? Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Is it common? Do you think the gearbox is gone? Just going to have to find out and figure something out. It's Wednesday morning. I'm doing lots of walking because it's been one of those days. To be honest, Monday was harder than Monday wasn't as bad as I was expecting, although, you know, could have done without the issues with the vans, obviously. But if that hadn't happened, Monday would have been quite a good day and it would have been quite a quiet week last week. Yesterday was a good day. You know, we had some good meetings. We've got some possible new contracts coming on board. We got recommended for one, which is absolutely fantastic. You know, it was a good day. Today, though, it's kind of going to pot. Today, we've had a bit of an issue with someone within the team has been very up and down for a while. Were recently put on a performance improvement plan because we needed to see an improvement. You know, we can't allow people to drop below a certain level, if you like. We have to have our minimum standards to make sure we're delivering the services that we need, the standard that we need. That's been going now for a few weeks, and unfortunately we haven't been seeing the improvement that we needed to see. So we've been thinking that we're going to have to make the harder decision that we really don't want to make. This person's been with us for a while. I really like them. I think they're an absolutely really nice person, genuinely one of the nicest people you will ever meet. But their work fluctuates, and it doesn't matter how much we like someone, we have to deliver the service to our clients. Therefore, if we're not doing that, or we're worried that there's a possibility we won't be able to do that, then we've got to take action. So that's kind of where we are. And today it's come to a head because the last week or so, rather than them actually stepping up to hit that performance improvement plan, it's got worse. So now we've had to have a discussion with them today. Rather than that discussion going as planned, it's got a bit frustrated. And it's ended up with a mutual parting of ways with immediate effect because we don't feel that they're going to be able to meet the standard. They don't feel they're going to be able to meet the standard. They're not happy in the role anymore. Unfortunately, if you're not happy, you're not happy. It's time to go. as much for them as anything else. So it's a sad day, it's a frustrating day, and it causes a lot of headache for the team, because now we're back to making sure that we move everything around and we follow through on promises made, and we get all the jobs done without letting any customers down. Frustrating, and you'll see the team sort of in the office frantically trying to sort everything out now. But yeah, what can you do? You know, what can you do?
The customer has told me that his 5-year-old child was sick on the carpet in the bedroom. He's tried hot water with Vanish and bicarb. He's let the bicarb sit all day and the Vanish. That's what it's dried like. So he's told me to concentrate on this area as well as the rest of the carpet. So I will see what I can do with this. This is the end result of the stain on the carpet. It's a bit wet at the minute, so it's a bit darker, but hopefully it'll dry lighter. That's the best I could do with it. And the rest of the carpet has been done as well.
£4,000 is how much we could stand to lose, because that customer strikes again. Now, I've mentioned that customer without actually mentioning that customer a number of times over the last few weeks. And if you don't know the full story, click the link above, catch up on some of those episodes to find out what's been going on. But basically, we've been working out the last of the contract because it just can't come quick enough. We've gone from regular communication to minimal rude communication to basically non-existent in the last week or so. So we've had to up our game to try and get hold of this customer and really just make sure both sides are going to follow through on their commitments and live up to the expectations. However, that's been very difficult to get any response out of the client. The only response we're getting is the site manager, who basically is the biggest problem. I'm just going to say it as it is. Couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery, which is actually quite relevant, springs to mind, but I'll try not to be too rude. Basically, we finally had a response today to a couple of emails that we've been sending over. And what they are alluding to is the fact that they no longer have a responsibility to pay their bills or pay their invoices. This is a typical tactic. There has been a change in ownership on the site. It's not the first time I've seen it, unfortunately. But obviously, we're in a contract. We have legal responsibilities, so we've got to continue to do that. So we try and deliver. We try and look after the staff and do what we can do. Sometimes you will come across what I would describe as customers with poor morals, and they will try and take advantage of these situations. That is what I expect this client to be doing. I also kind of think it is the site manager more than the company, the new company that owns it, because I actually believe they're the only point of contact, and I don't believe any more contact is going any further, either because it's their lack of skill or lack of want to pass that information on. So now we've got to try and take a couple of different tactics. We've got to go back and forwards and see what else we can get out of it. This is not going to be easy, and as it stands at the moment, we could lose £4,000. Yes, we have a contract in place. Yes, that should protect us. However, that's not always the way. As much as I would like to say that as long as you've got a contract, you're all good, you're not. I've been burned before, because ultimately to get what you're owed, you typically have to invest a lot more money and a lot more time. Good afternoon.
All right.
You all right?
Ollie's saying there's no stain. What would you say to the factory's got milk spilled and Lorna's worried about the smell? So we've got to clean to scrub it with hot water. Ollie's gone there and, well, but she's worried about the smell. I don't know whether just to, there's no smell either, it smells like coffee and lemongrass.
What have they got on site? They got soda back on
Right,
site.
there's no smell.
There's no smell, but it smells like
It smells
coffee
like
and
coffee
lemon
and lemon fresh. Oh, that's a smell.
Never seen so many cobwebs.
And that was just the manor.
Yeah, that was bad doing that manor house, wasn't it?
I still think
I managed to get some filming.
Oh, did you? Awesome.
I don't know how good it's going to be, mine.
It couldn't be any worse than
I
I'm
filmed
playing
yesterday
today.
for about an hour.
Oh, have you?
You should have
Appreciate that.
You might see my
My
pants.
films.
I like 3 times. I've
I've looked about 4 videos today alone with people's asses hanging out. It's like, it's not nice, I gotta be honest. Jordan put the camera up and you see him set it all up, spend ages in front of it setting it all up because he's obviously unbolting a fan, and then he's literally got up, walked out, come back in, turned round, bent down, and all you're looking at is his arse crack. You can't see nothing. I'm like, right, delete that one.
I don't know why I can't do it. You're like a motor. I can't do it anymore. That's bollocks. Fuck's sake. No, I can't do it.
So it is late in the day on Wednesday, and I basically had to email that customer earlier today with a very aggressive and very rude email. Basically, it wasn't rude; it was polite, but it was abrupt. Let's put it that way, because they did respond previously, and I was correct. They were basically completely and utterly intending on not paying. We've been led on, we've been lied to, and to be honest with you, I believe it to solely be the site manager. I don't actually believe it to be the main company itself. I believe it to be the site manager we've been dealing with. But we've been strung along, we've been lied to, and they are completely oblivious. They had no intentions of paying any of the invoices that are outstanding because, as far as they're concerned, they were unaware any cleaning services were going on. And they didn't believe they had a responsibility to the contract. So now I've done that. I've then since now had a response from the CEO of the new company, who has obviously not been very happy about my, as he states, aggressive email. And has come back. They have said that they will cover the weeks that we provided the actual cleaning, and from the transition from the old company to the time that they closed down for the refurbishments, they are disputing that they have any responsibility to pay for anything after that because services weren't received. Now, I do kind of understand that, obviously. In a normal circumstance, obviously, if they'd have turned around and just stated that at the time, we could have taken steps. That wouldn't have been best practice because obviously the actual operatives would basically been made redundant with immediate effect at that point if we couldn't transfer them to another site. But they didn't make any attempt to do that at all, which is why I believe they do have responsibility. Now, I've got the decision to make is, well, what do we do? Do we basically continue to try and pursue that, or do we cut our losses and see what we can get out? I've made the decision that I'm just going to try and cut my losses and see what I can get out, because if I try and pursue the whole amount, that is court and legal action and everything else, and basically we probably won't get a lot if we get anything at all. So essentially, and it's going to cost us more money to get there. So I'm going to cut my losses. I'm going back to him now. I can't leave it because it was playing on my mind all night. So I'm going to email him back now before I go home, basically saying I will respond to some of his points because I can't help myself. But basically, my point is going to be: look, you've admitted responsibility for these invoices. We're liable, or we've accrued X amount costs. I would like you to cover the costs so we break even. We'll look after the operatives on site, and then we can all just draw a line under it as full and final settlement and part ways. We'll look after the team members who are on site. They both declined that they want to transfer anyway, so they're not losing a lot. But if we do that, at least we've done something. We'll see where we go. I don't know is the honest answer whether or not we're going to get any more than those few invoices, but we'll see. Friday the 23rd, as you can see, working from home today. Relatively quiet day that's for myself, just catching up on a few odds and ends more than anything, just to make sure I'm planning ahead. But Unfortunately, we can't do a lot about the vans this week. We've got to wait until Tuesday when the specialist can have a look at that van to see exactly what the issue is going on there. But we've managed to move some things around with the vehicles to make sure most of the guys are with a vehicle, and we can get the stuff done. Managed to make a little bit of headway yesterday with that awkward customer about the outstanding payment. So we've basically divvied up all the different invoices. Turns out that one company, which was the previous owner, is still responsible for a couple of invoices, and there's a couple of invoices that they've admitted liability for, and they've agreed to settle those. The new customer and the new owner, that is, does leave us with a few invoices that they're basically refusing to sell. So we're now at that awkward point. Well, do we keep disputing it and try and get and chase them for it in line with the contract, or we just have to, like I said before, cut our losses? What I've actually done is I've basically suggested that they meet us in the middle and they cover our costs, so we can still look after the staff, but with the company, Vapor Clean is not a loss. They've said they'll consider it, which I think that is some headway. I'm not going to hold my breath for them to actually do it, but we'll see. They've also said that they will insist speaking to the previous company, because now they've gone quiet, and see if they can get us the money that they owe us as well. So we'll see. Only time will tell. What you're going to have to do, come back next week to find out what happens. Click that subscribe button below, turn on the notification bell. That is it for this week. I'm done because I'm finishing up for the day and spending some time with the kids. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next week behind the cleans.